to Mr. UFC Vegas Fight Club TV. I am Kyle, your host. Welcome to the podcast and welcome to the Let's Chat discussion area video for UFC Fight Night 128, Barboza versus Lee. We'll get into our hero parlay and, hopefully we'll knock that out of the park. We've got 7 plays that we're going to go over. Only plays that I'm going to be doing as a parlay and not betting these individually. The ones I am individually betting we'll go over in a second again if you did not see my prediction video that I posted yesterday. So we'll get into that as well. And just to remind everybody, I will be at the event tomorrow. Really excited about it. We'll be down there in Atlantic City enjoying myself and as well as attending the event. So we'll definitely, do some videos from there. I may stream live, not sure, see how it goes, but also I'll definitely be doing some videos and sharing them with you at the very least by Sunday and get those out to you guys as well. So excited and bring you guys along with me on the event. So first thing we want to do is obviously there's 7 plays that we're going to talk about for the hero parlay that we're going to go over. And obviously 3 of them are going to be the plays that I talked about yesterday in the prediction video for the event. So what we're going to go over first, obviously again, is going to be the best bet is going to be one of them. And best bet for the year, to remind everybody again, for the year we are 16 wins, 6 losses plus 13.6 units just on best bet. So that is my most confident play. So that's the one that we will pop in there as the first one, and that is going to be Kevin Lee defeating Barboza. If you want to dive into it again, you can go to the prediction video of why we really think that and why I believe that that's an opportunity for him to win. Really believe that he's going to get this win, hopefully in the main event for us. The other play that we're going to be going over is Frankie Edgar is the second one. And again, that's in the prediction video we went over. That's going to be the second pick, Frankie Edgar defeating Cub Swanson. And third one is going to be Thiago Santos defeating, who is he fighting again? David Branch. And I'm really excited to see that fight. I know that already there's some people in the comment section yesterday and some this morning were discussing, some were agreeing, some were disagreeing with that play. So really interested to see how David Branch does. I'm not that big on David Branch, and I'm very more heavy on Santos, as in just my feeling of these 2 fighters. I just feel like Santos is kind of going up, and Branch, I see him more as an average fighter, and got that big opportunity against Rockhold and wasn't able to come through. But I also am not that, big on Rockhold overall. I think he's great, but that glass chin can always, pop out and say hello. So now that we've got those 3 out of the way, the 3 main ones that we're betting, and those I'm betting straight again. So it's 2 units on Kevin Lee, it's 1 unit on Frankie Edgar, and it's a half a unit on Thiago Santos. So those are my 3 main plays that I will be betting straight. Now, including those 3 for the parlay, I have 4 plays here. Now, the first one I'll talk about is Justin Willis versus Chase Sherman. Now, this fight to me, Justin Willis, he is a huge, he's a big favorite right now. I think he's around minus, 350, somewhere around there, depending where the money's going. And, I feel good about this guy. I think he's got great upside in his career. He's 6-1. His only loss was his first loss in his career. So I think he's got such big upside working at, training at AKA. And Daniel Cormier really likes this kid. So I think he's got an opportunity here with the pieces that are around him, what he's learning, and his mindset. And these interviews that I've seen with him have been really great, have been terrific. I mean, he's really just mentally strong. He knows what he wants to do. He seems like a really great human being to begin with also. And I just think that he's very focused. And having world champions around you is going to help you and push you further. Plus, for his size, he's very fast for his size. Very fast. And he pushes the weight limit of the heavyweight division, and yet he gets down, but still he's fast. It depends on how far he can go. In his, I believe 2 fights ago, he went the distance. And that's good to see. I like to see that. I actually like to see the fact that a big guy like this doesn't just need to go in there and knock everybody out, and then if he gets, if he has to go, deep into the second round, he doesn't gas. So it's good to see that he actually has that ability to go further in fights and actually see through a decision victory. So that's good to see. So I'm throwing in Justin Willis in the hero parlay. Now the other one is these next two, I was back and forth on. I really was back and forth on these two. Is Aljamain Sterling versus Brett Johns. Now, Johns is 15-0. He's got some victories. He's starting to get a little bit of some hype behind him a little bit here, where he was able to finish Joe Soto very quickly and brilliantly. So, he's got a lot of that going on here. I'm very interested to see how he does. Aljamain, to me, sometimes I'm back and forth on the way that I view his fights. Sometimes he looks timid. Sometimes he doesn't look as assertive as he normally is with his striking. And I think he's kind of coming around to that in his loss against Asuncao and against Caraway. Those were two that really scared me to ever bet him when I had watched those fights. And that was going back earlier of last year. And, that really worried me a little bit, just though how timid he was. But he's got, Matt Serra as his coach. He's got great people around him also, which I always look at that. Where camps are these guys in? And he is in another strong camp. And since he's really started to evolve and move himself forward with his striking, how he strikes, where he's going, his cage movement, and I really like what he's starting to evolve into. Beating Barrow and having a knockout victory. Knockout loss in his last fight, which can that change him also? He started to piece himself together and then comes off a very, very brutal loss. So how is he going to bounce back? I'm leaning more towards Sterling, as this is a bounce back opportunity. Johns, I'm not sure if he's fully proven himself, and I believe that the grappling and the wrestling of Aljamain is where he needs to go in this fight. Although Jones has the ability to choke you out and finish the fight, I think that's where he's got to go. They both actually have roughly the same reach, so it's not like Aljamain has that opportunity to really use his reach and be able to work combinations from the outside. I think Aljamain will get this fight. I'm not as confident in this one. I think it's going to be a great fight actually to see. I'm excited to see this one live. But I think Aljamain will be able to squeak out a very close decision victory. So I'm putting Aljamain Sterling in the parlay as well. The next one is another tough fight, which is why I am not betting any of these straight. These are all in parlays. Is Dan Hooker versus Jim Miller. Now, this fight was another tough decision maker when I was looking at what to break down here. And for me, Jim Miller, he's, a journeyman, I guess is where we can put it for him. He's kind of, he's had some wins. He'll string a couple wins together, and then he'll have some losses, and then he'll have some wins. And he's just been back and forth. He's 28-11. He's, been in the UFC for a long time, but he's just never been able to be in that title picture. In that, he can't, once he starts to face that next level up, he just can't seem to finish them. He just can't seem to get those W's, and, he'll drop back down in competition, and he'll get those wins, and he'll work his way back up. Although, he's strung three together, Alves, Gomi, and Lozon. He was able to beat the three of those guys, and then he ended up, facing the next level up of competition, and Francis Chernobyl he lost to, Anthony Pettis he lost to, Dustin Poirier he lost to. So those three guys, those three are all great fighters. I really like Chernobyl. I really like Chinaldo, I'm sorry. Where he's going. I really like him. He's an older guy, but he's been able to really put together some nice wins, and he is very strong. All around, he's very good. All around in the MMA, his ability, he's just really pieced together very well, and I think he can continue to flourish in the UFC. But, looking now at Jim Miller, it's just, he had Lyme disease. He's dealing with that. That's been a big issue with him, his strength. He's on a lot of medication. That's a big thing that turns me away from Jim Miller. Even though, in fact, he's fighting at home, I always like that. I always like to kind of lean towards the guys that are fighting at home. But Jim Miller is 2-4 fighting in New Jersey. That's not very good. And his 2 wins, they came as his first 2 fights within the UFC, fighting in New Jersey. So he won 2 and then he lost 4. So that's tough too. So I think that putting all of that together, I just think that Dan Hooker, he's pieced some wins together, and really the big chance for Miller to win is on the ground, and Dan Hooker hasn't been choked out in a very long time on the ground. So I think that with the reach advantage, the size advantage, Dan Hooker has about a 4-inch reach advantage, and a little bit taller. I think it's 3 or 4 inches also taller. So I think those things all together, it's going to be very tough for Jim Miller to piece something together here to win some rounds, grind it out and win some rounds. I don't really see that. I don't see that he's going to be able to put it together. So I'm going to also throw in Dan Hooker in the Hero Parlay. And then the last one here that I'm just throwing in because I've always liked the way he fights. Still a tough fight to predict. But I really like Alex Garcia. Really like what I've seen from this kid. He's done really well, and I think he continues to evolve. And I think that he's very underrated within the UFC, but I think he's going to be able to get the job done and get the victory. So those are my 7 plays as a Hero Parlay, not betting any of these straight. And again, it's Kevin Lee, Frankie Edgar, Thiago Santos, Justin Willis, Alex Garcia, Aljamain Sterling, and Dan Hooker are the 7 plays as the 7 fight parlay, the Hero Parlay I like to call it. And again, our 3 main plays is Kevin Lee, Frankie Edgar, and Thiago Santos are the 3 that I'm betting straight. And those are the plays for Fight Night 128, Barboza versus Lee. And again, this is the chat area, so when we're, tomorrow, when all the fights are on Saturday night, this is an area for us to talk. I will be in Atlantic City, so not sure how active I will be. I will be, enjoying myself out there as well. But you guys get involved, subscribe, have comments, continue to have the great conversation that's going on there. And we will definitely be chatting in that section tomorrow. And hopefully we're cashing in some tickets as well for our bets. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, get involved in Fight Club TV. And this is Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV.